just going to reread this. So Paramahamsa Tewari was an author, inventor, and retired executive director of the Nuclear Power Corporation in India. He passed away on November 27th of last year, and his pioneering contributions extend beyond his professional career. He's the author of a revolutionary theory in physics, which he started developing in the early 1970s, called the space vortex theory, or SVT. And it won him early commendation by Nobel laureate in physics because they thought so highly of his work because it just made sense. Mr. Tewari's son, Anupam Tiwari, will be presenting on his father's work in hopes that it will raise awareness about the RLG so that it will not fall into obscurity. The goal is to bring it into commercial production, and it is one of the most well-known, highly vetted, true over-unity devices ever studied. Please help me welcome Mr. Anupam Tiwari.
He said, geez, things are really different. These are the beliefs that I have arrived at, and I really feel that space has energy to it. We can actually create a device that could do certain things. We are obviously going to get into that. So evidence from the theory, and space is not empty, but filled with dynamic energy. So this is just the bio. Aaron kindly has already touched on most of it. I will just try to not be repetitive here. But the theory, for instance, covers ground that it really deals with some fundamental things about the nature of matter, about space, and energy as well. He was lucky to speak in places like Colorado many years ago, I think in the early 90s, in Japan, Germany, and Italy, and enjoyed the collaboration with scientists from around the world. And so that very fact, he seems to suggest that there is something more basic, more unique, that is a more universal entity that constitutes the electron. Again, that's the space. That's that so-called Akash, to move into the Vedas and Upanishads and all of that. But that's that basic substratum, that dynamic energy. And then he makes an assertion that the medium of universal space is three-dimensional massless entity, which in vortex motion is the primordial source of all cosmic energy. And he defines space further, opposed to our conventional notion of space, that space postulated in the SVT, his theory, as a non-material and incompressible fluid, close to the ether fluid concept of René Descartes, the French mathematician and philosopher. And here's the structure of the electron, what I was talking about. So you look at that emptiness in the between, inside, that is your void, and I will just rotate over it, my understanding of the overall thing, but that is the space vortex, those concentric circles. That's your space rotating. Now, how that perimeter around the void is actually stable. It is continuous. All pressure points are apparently continuous and equal. And the angular velocity of the space vortex around that perimeter is actually providing the inward force to it. Some SVT outcomes. So again, call them assertions, call them findings, call them results. These are some observations, whatever. So he has been able, through his theory, to derive the basic equations for electrons' mass and charge from new principles arising from space vortex structure of electron have been derived. Because you see, he says it is the electron, which is a perpetually rotating system. It is a space vortex of absolute vacuum, because that's where it comes from, that through the process of motion in electric current and interaction with the external magnetic field in a generator, electrons, electric current, can also lead to the development of a system that partially violates Lenz's law, and thereby capable of achieving perpetual motion in a machine. Just to be clear, I don't think he's saying that we are defying the laws of conservation of energy, and he is not defying Lenz's law. He has simply found, in an elegant way, to sidestep it, to bypass it, using the flow of magnetic flow, fields, and current. I've just restated that same point in a more simple way, which is to divert the magnetic field through the special circuit, bypassing Lenz's reaction partially, if not fully, through nullification.